Hey, Dr. Lamb.
Hey there. How are you? Am
Um,
I, am I coming through loud and clear?
yep, am I too?
Yeah, everything's good. I was just
Okay,
finishing up
I'm gonna
with
go ahead
Talia.
and,
We collected her data. She's at an elementary school.
who is that?
Talia Doden. Talia is at
Okay,
Central Elementary in Orange County, um,
okay,
down in Chapel Hill area. And we did a little leadership survey, kind of a takeoff on the teacher working conditions survey that North
mm-hmm,
Carolina uses. And so, and we pulled her report, which is really good. She's got qualitative and quantitative. Then we pulled the spring 22 teacher working condition surveys are out where we can do we're actually comparing her data to that data and
nice.
to do a convergent design.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, it's pretty good. It's
Dr.
standard.
Lamb, do you know a Maurice Thomas? He's a doctorate, I guess, for superintendency, like that other track.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah. He's in our school district.
right.
Mm-hmm. He was just named a principal at one of our schools. So,
Yeah, I saw that.
mm-hmm.
I saw
Hey,
that.
Cheryl.
He came. I think he came through. I think he came through with us. His name is Maurice Robinson.
Maurice Thomas,
Maurice
and
Thomas.
he's still in the program.
Yeah, I think he came through the MSA, and now he's in the he's in the LS. He's in EDLS now.
Gotcha.
I think that was him, Maurice Thomas.
Doc,
I can look him up. Good afternoon.
this is Cheryl Sniker, Dr. Lamb. She's my partnering supervisor, and
Yes.
she works for Clover School District as the Director of Teacher Effectiveness.
Well, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you on short notice. Vic has been with us the last couple of days on some of the others, and she's got so anxious she wanted to move it forward.
It worked out well. Thank you, sir.
That's great. That's absolutely great. Well, good afternoon. This is Dale Lamb from Gardner Webb. This is Vic Stine's final defense in the DEOL program. We're going to turn it over to her to get started this afternoon. Make sure I'm recording. We're good to go.
Okay, thank you all both for being here. My project, Collective Leadership Practices, Improve Teacher Efficacy and School Culture. The purpose of my study is to confirm that collective leadership practices do increase teacher job satisfaction, to empower teachers, to increase capacity and self-efficacy, to establish a climate of sharing strengths, and to provide opportunities for our expert teachers to mentor, coach, and support, especially our new teachers. My choice to partner with the school and district was due definitely to the overwhelming demands that are put on teachers to meet our students' very diverse needs, academically, socially, and emotionally, in addition to the high performance standards and decreases in resources and in parent support as well. There's also been quite an increase in the number of brand new teachers due to high attrition rates, not just in our school, but in the district and state, probably nation, I would say. We had a meeting earlier this month with Ms. Sniker to look at our 5-year look of teachers leaving the profession. And it certainly is concerning to see our brand new teachers getting frustrated and feeling overwhelmed and leaving the field. And very alarming to see our expert teachers leaving education and going into other fields. So that, to me, that information and the situation we're in definitely provided my interest to the problem of practice. How do we provide collective leadership opportunities for our top educators to allow them time to get out of the classroom to mentor, coach, and train, and share their expertise with our beginning teachers. So in that, I partnered with the district, and Ms. Sniker was game, and we had a very hardworking committee consisting of some interventionists, lead teachers, an assistant principal, and an innovation coach, all very participatory in helping with this project. My research questions: what collective leadership practices add value to a positive school climate, teacher empowerment, and self-efficacy? What system conditions are required for a successful shared leadership model? And how is leadership capacity built in educators? Feel like these questions exist within the context of collective leadership in two areas. The first is the what. What is the personal investment, intrinsic drive, and motivation, and teacher areas of excellence that give self-satisfaction and pride when they are shared with other colleagues? And the how. How is administration, how do they acknowledge teacher talent and expertise within the school? And how does she or he consider and accept input and use it to show that we are valuing our teachers' input and that they do indeed make an impact? Collective leadership is grounded in the theoretical framework of Albert Bandura's social learning theory. In this theory, learning and growth is affected by cognitive factors such as knowledge, expectations, and attitudes, the behavioral factors, skills, practice, and self-efficacy, and environmental factors, social norms, opportunities, and capacity. Bandura coined collective efficacy, and his research confirms that when teams believe they can experience greater success by unifying efforts, they can overcome significant challenges. This correlates too with George Holman's positive results within social exchange theory. It's my personal belief, and research correlates shortages in the teacher workforce result from those ever increasing demands and student needs, the decreasing resources, not to mention the increasing performance demands and even competition. A highly competent teacher workforce is the central component of education improvement and reform. Teachers want to be heard, they want to be valued and appreciated. This parallels Maslow's hierarchy of needs in motivational theory, particularly that of self-actualization, representing that higher level motivation. The research of Darling Hammond and Ingersoll confirmed the importance too of developing collective leadership practices and strong support, again, especially for new teachers. This graphic provides a visual overview of the action research cycle that I followed. I chose Kurt Lewin's style of action research for its participatory style. I definitely wanted to be involved and use our learning to improve the environment at the school and impact student achievement. His participatory style of testing showed improvements in social aspects as well, including relationships, communication, and cooperation. I thought all of these would benefit the research and match my personal leadership style. This is pragmatic practice within existing theory. We had a pre-treatment survey and analysis, which drove the development of work structures to enable the interventions of a personalized PLC, observation cycles for new teachers, and a breakout style of staff development. Through the facilitation of those interventions, the collection and analysis of additional data, we had efficacy survey data provided through participating in South Carolina's collective leadership cohort. We had post PLC data and post-treatment survey data to triangulate, and that enabled us to have insight and to make future plans and recommendations based on our problem of practice. Our surveys, we had 2 treatment surveys, pre and post, measuring the attitudes of agreement and disagreement of our collective leadership practice within the school. This was a 10-question survey. 5 questions were 4-point Likert scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And then we had complementing open-ended questions that were coded and categorized into themes. Our pre-survey response was 53% of our certified teachers. Post-survey, we had 100% of those responding. That's significant to me. I wanted to mention that. Our administrations of our surveys was 521, and then March of this year. Again, we had efficacy survey data from December 2020 to March 22. And you'll see in our pre-survey data results that we were already immersed in collective leadership, and that shows through our pre-survey results. There was a very positive percentage in attitudes related to collective leadership practices. All responses on the Likert scale questions were 92% strongly agree and agree. However, there was one question, PD is personalized, and that was 88% strongly agree and agree. So we chose that as our area of need to provide an individualized professional development within a PLC. Our themes of our open-ended response, the question, how does leadership promote trust and collegiality among staff? Each of these answers came in as 20% of the open-ended, and this was a theme: planning time, discussion time, shared decisions. They were all at 20%. And then the response of leadership shows transparency was 14% of the open-ended responses. Here, this indicated to us a need for work structures to allow shared practices. How are teachers respected as ed professionals? 36% of those who responded in open-end said that their input is valued and they are trusted to make decisions. That was 32% of our response. This to us indicated a need for shared decision-making and showing value of teacher input. Our efficacy data findings, there was one question that our humble staff answered: do you consider yourself a leader beyond your classroom? 83% said yes. This was the only question on the efficacy survey that was below our cohort in comparison. And so we chose that to really focus our plan to help teachers see themselves as leaders outside of the classroom. Our actions, our interventions included systems for collective practice. We worked with our master schedule, allowing time for collective efforts, our PLC, collaboration time, observation, feedback cycles. And very important is we didn't forget that we provide coverage early, because our teachers will feel guilty about leaving the classroom, and that the observation cycle will not benefit them because they'll be worried about leaving the classroom. We provided personalized professional development within a PLC based on professional needs and individual goals. And this correlated with the teacher's student learning objective, their SLO. We consulted with the district and were able to pilot an inquiry cycle of PLC for teachers to earn continuing ed credit. And that stuck. We piloted that for the district. We had a new teacher support plan. In this, we identified areas of need for new teachers. We added some things to our handbook, such as a go-to list, who to go to for certain needs, and also a vocabulary list, all of those acronyms, so our teachers didn't have to ask questions that they thought they shouldn't have to ask. We had after-school drop-ins some just casual for them to network, and others purposefully based on needs, such as for classroom management tips, for parent conferencing, for student assessment, and for management and organization for themselves. Very well received. And we provided observation cycles for our newbies to go see our expert teachers, and then gave them time to discuss the lesson or strategy and how it would look in their classroom. And this really did empower our veteran teachers, our expert teachers. And then the continued participation in the state collective leadership cohort. This is sharing opportunity with other schools throughout the state, and we certainly benefited from that as well. Our post-intervention survey results. This post-survey was completed in March, and based on these findings, our attitudes to collective leadership practices resulted in 90% of favorable response. If you recall, pre-survey was over 92%, but this is certainly a better look at our school considering the significance of our response rate. We had 100% of our teachers respond to this survey. The individualized PD, 88% at pre-intervention said that their PD was personalized, went up to 90%. Our open-end response questions that we focused in on really substantiated the work structures to allow shared practices and confirmed the need for shared decision-making and valuing teacher input. We surveyed everything we did, and those responses, you'll see that, on the next slide, really substantiated these findings. Our efficacy data findings improved perceptions of self-efficacy from that number of 83% to 95% of our teachers feel like leaders outside the classroom. That, to me, was our big win. And significantly, 85% of our certified reported job satisfaction at the end of the school year. Again, considering the times that we're in, this is the win. 95% said that opportunities to lead outside the classroom increase empowerment and efficacy. 90% of our staff can feel they can significantly impact our students. And 100% of those who attended PLC reported benefits of growth through that experience. Connecting back to the theoretical framework, our findings support that collective leadership practices allow educators to grow in the profession feeling valued, supported, and empowered. Correlates within the context of Bandura's collective efficacy theory. This project really did confirm the belief that unifying efforts collectively can overcome significant challenges. It connects to Maslow's motivation theory in self-actualization and empowerment, teacher empowerment, confirms the research of Darling Hammond and Richard Ingersoll. Opportunities for new teachers to receive coaching, modeling, and mentoring and receive personalized professional development have been effective in developing and empowering teachers. Jonathan Eckert, we met with him through our cohort, and he was the provider of our data. He's at Baylor in Texas. This really confirms his theory of the importance of the investment in human capital. Finally, redesigning the work of teachers, providing flexibility within scheduling, and those experience for expert teachers to share strengths and adopting best practice within a sustained PLC for personalized PD have resulted in job satisfaction and increased efficacy of teachers. my recommendations to the school and district. Require the schools within the district to engage in strategic alignment of goals and resources, enabling them to develop collective leadership practices and to provide relevant professional development to support these practices. Schools and districts should provide flexibility to create system conditions, including work structures, capacity, and the provision of resources for collective leadership opportunities. I would see the next step here as that job sharing, and Ms. Sniker and I have talked about that. Two teachers, one teaching position, where the teacher not teaching is coaching and modeling. And lastly, provide personalized, need-based professional development. Let our teachers own their learning, empower them to build individual capacity for team strength and success, and an opportunity to earn credit, even micro-credentialing. That was another discussion, and that is another next step as well. It's efficient and it's effective use of time and efforts. I will take any questions.
Well, thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
You can go ahead and stop your share, and I'll share my screen, and we'll work through our worksheet. Now,
okay. Oh, there we go.
Get that out of the way. Ms. Sniker, again, thank you for being with us today. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to work through some things with Vic. I've got it pulled up. And so, again, your committee members are me and the DOL faculty and Ms. Sniker, who's with us today. It's easy to see how you integrated your research, what your problem was. Obviously, this is applicable to other organizations, other K-12 applications. So the question is I think you touched on this briefly, what you would do differently. You might want to reiterate that one.
Sure. Well, first of all, I think that I would love to initiate this in non-COVID times, but
right.
So I felt like that broke down our communication just a little bit between me and Miss Sniker. Actually, we were so busy, trying to put out fires and in crisis mode, but my heart is into this, and I want to see it go into that job sharing, the micro-credentialing. We have to find a way for our teachers to feel like they want to be here. And I mean, it's tough times. I know you know that, Dr. Lamb. But
yeah, it is.
Yes.
I get calls from districts every day. We're to the point in some districts of literally flagging cars down on the highway. Can you teach school? The retention is all-time low. And I think there are some things that we can do. Obviously, we want teachers to be empowered as classroom leaders, Robert Marzano, but I think the key is empowerment as a school-wide leader. Now, in the MSA program at Gardner-Webb, our model is that of Todd Whitaker. And I'm wondering if it's not outdated because of the pandemic. I'm beginning to wonder that. We work off of a model of empowerment as a school-wide leader for a classroom teacher. We work off the model of Whitaker, which, the first step is teach others, present professional development, be involved in curriculum, be involved in school improvement team, be involved in the budget, and then, of course, the Holy Grail, be involved in hiring. I'm wondering if teachers really want to do those things now, quite honestly. Do they still want to do all of those kinds of things? Are they willing to give up the time and be involved I think one of the things that teachers are saying is they're overburdened. I'll give you an example. Now, this is apples to oranges, but since May the 9th, I've been involved in a hiring committee at Gardner Webb for a new faculty position. I've been involved since May the 9th. I've been giving up Wednesdays on a regular basis. I don't mean a few minutes, all day, to do interviews. Now, as I always say, what's time to a pig? I've got nothing better to do. But if I had a real job where I was teaching school and had a class full of kids, and I was having to find time outside of that, I don't know that I want to be involved in that. I don't know that that's the reward I don't know that the reward system that we have for being a great teacher. We tell our folks we want to reward our best teachers. We want to create a culture of teaching and learning in school. We want our best teachers to be our teacher leaders outside of, the best classroom leaders to be our best school leaders. But it's based on this notion that these are rewards. Being involved on the budget committee, being involved with the school improvement team, being involved on the hiring committee, providing professional development for other teachers. I'm not sure that that's the reward that we think it is post-pandemic. Teachers are complaining that they're overburdened. That may not be the notion that we one time thought it was. I'm revisiting that right now myself with our MSA program. And the other thing that I'm revisiting, and I'm advocating more so than ever before, and I've been advocating for a while. I did some PD and well, not some, I've been doing some PD on master scheduling for quite a while with different districts, how to unbalance their schedule so that mentoring, modeling, and coaching piece can be done. The problem is, especially in smaller schools is, especially with your encore or specials, whatever you want to call them, RPE, that all the third grade teachers have planning at the same time. But what if the mentor and the mentee are on planning? What do? Go to the lounge and look at one another?
Right.
You need to unbalance your schedule where, when Vic's coming as, I'm the new teacher or the low performing teacher, when she's coming to mentor me, she can come and watch me teach, and then she can model. I can go watch her teach. We can't do that if we have common planning. And it doesn't do any good. I've told the story, and Vic's probably heard it 1,000 times. When I was a beginning high school teacher a long time ago, over in the science department, my mentor was he was a geography teacher because that's who was available. Mm-hmm. What am I going to go watch him do?
Right.
I enjoyed him, and we had, and our families, and I still think the world of him to this day. But what are we going to do? How much help is he going to be able to give me? He was who was available. We've got to do a better job with that, and we've got to, and getting principals to unbalance their schedule because of specials, because of the itinerants that come in your building. It's like pulling teeth, but we got to do it more so now than ever. That modeling piece, that mentoring piece, that coaching piece, that can't be done in the faculty lounge.
Right.
That just doesn't work. I think that's a biggie. And the other is I'm not sure that the rewards that we've been giving in terms of empowerment as a school leader, I'm not sure those are real rewards anymore. Right. We're going to have to do a little work in that area to see if folks still want to do those things, if they still want to be involved, if they still have the time, if that's still the reward that we think it is. I don't know. I'm several generations removed, as you can see, from beginning teachers. I don't have anything in common with them. When I'm around young people, it's quite honestly, I don't get it, but they don't get me either. That's part of the generation gap. But what I consider, as a reward, they may not. I can't set up schools and run it for people my age, because people my age don't work in schools anymore. And so I think that's the biggie is we need more work in this area. I think your study I think it's just absolutely marvelous. And, so I would encourage you to continue with it. I know it's a passion of yours. Just literally before this, 3 minutes before, I was working with Talia. She's, as I said, she's in Orange County, and we're doing some advocacy work with them at Central Elementary School there. And the barrier is communication. That their principal's not willing to communicate and work and explain and be a collective leader and practice collective leadership. It's, my way or the highway. I am the boss. Well, that doesn't work real well with young people. They change jobs like most of us change underwear.
Yeah.
Pardon my analogy today, but young people just won't stay with you. They don't bow their neck and stay. When you give them things that they don't want to do, they just find something else to do. Move back in with their parents if they have to. That is foreign to my generation. That is not, when I went off to college when I was 18, my father sawed my end of the table off. There would have been no coming back home. You weren't going, you were grown. But that is not the case now. Right behind the house right there, both of their adult children are back. They'll never leave. Why should they?
Yeah.
You're not going to get them out with a stick of dynamite. And so these young people that we hire, these neophytes that we hire, that's not a derogatory term. I prefer it to beginners. These neophytes that even the best, they don't have a lot of grit and determination. I was in a dissertation recently, and it was about grit and determination. And I was like, this is a duh. They don't have it. We do that before you start. And so, but we've got to find a way. You can't be, I told you the story. I was junior high principal in Charlotte. They hired me as a senior high principal, came out of the central office in Burke, went to Charlotte, and they said, oh, go do this junior high for 2 years. We'll pay you. Okay. I had 37 openings when I got there. 37 teacher openings. And so, I'm not a big fan of Collins. Get the right people and get them on the bus. Sometimes there aren't any people. What are you going to do now? So you better work on keeping the ones you got and hiring them and facilitating them, being collaborative with them, because you can get to the point, and a lot of folks now, oh, it's a crisis. Well, I told you that 25 years ago. Well, it's actually been 27 years ago, 28 years ago. I told you that 28 years ago, that this was a crisis. When I became a senior high principal in Charlotte, and I couldn't find people. I tried to explain that this is a crisis. Oh no, it's just, now it's everybody. I hate to be wrong, but in this case, I hate more that I was right. I'm fearful for our future in the business in K-12. I am fearful.
One of the facts that I shared with Vic and the other principals that day when we met, I mean, it's frightening. Our school district had the reputation of being the one that everyone wanted to teach in. Oh, yeah. And 78% of the folks that we've hired in the last 5 years are gone. They just don't stay. And that's frightening, that you can't sustain that. And it just eats all of your time, energy, and resources. So that's the reason that Vic's work was really important to me, was trying to figure a way to stop the holes in the bucket. More,
So. The analogy I use is the old Geese and Slaw Brothers song. My pocket's got a hole in it. My out goes more than my wherewithal. That's exactly right. When I was in CMS, the years that I was in the central office, we were running at 75% lack of retention. We call them we categorize them in the first 4 years. That's why I use that term neophytes. We didn't just talk about BTs, beginning teachers. We talked about them until the end of their 4th year. That was what we were. If we could get them to year 5, we had a chance to keep them. But we were running about 75% would leave before that 5th year in that first 4 years. And you're spending all of your time, effort, and energy replacing people. It's just like reinventing the wheel all the time. That's why I said, as somebody who went through that more specifically in a junior high and a senior high, we've got the central office that we're eating our young, as we call it. You got to quit. We got to do something. And now everybody's having that problem. And you're right. The school's down 49. Lake Wiley, Clover, on over to Rock Hill. They seem to be pretty stable. We lose a lot of people. I mean, Betty Riddle left years ago and became superintendent in Clover. I mean, we would lose. Ron went down there. Ron Thompson. We lost a lot of people, and there was a lot of stability down there. But it doesn't. Those days are gone. It seems like everybody is having the same issues now. And again, to be redundant, this is not about me. This was about Vic and her. That's what I could talk all afternoon. I think a lot of it's generational. It's not just COVID. COVID has just brought these issues to the forefront. I think a lot of this is generational, and we're going to have to see things differently than maybe our own lived experiences, and that's hard for us all. It really is. But we're going to have to make these changes, or we're going to be out of business. All right, so back to Vic. Who are you now as a leader? How has this changed you as a leader? You were already a leader when you came to us, but how has it changed you?
I think more than anything, I feel more authentic. I am who I am. I accept my growth areas, and I understand the need to have people that complement those growth areas. And I think one of my biggest areas of growth is in conflict. I understand now that to make adaptive change, you have to be in some type of conflict, and it doesn't, I always wanted to avoid that, but it's healthy, and I can externalize that. And I feel like I see things clearer that way. I don't take it personally or emotionally, and definitely a difference in my self-confidence and self-awareness.
Yeah, emotional intelligence, self-confidence, self-awareness, able to not personalize it. That's a great answer. All right, I think you've done a tremendous job. Again, this one's close to my heart.
Thank you.
A million years ago, I was an elementary principal. I know that's hard to believe. I came home slimed every day. Those little kids rubbed their face on you every day.
You love it.
That was the best. I didn't know it at the time. Dumb as I was, that's the best job I ever had.
Absolutely.
It doesn't get much better than that. Going down and taking a nap with the kindergartners after lunch, that's a pretty good duty. I enjoyed myself. Well, Ms. Knocker, thank you again for being with us today. I know that this has been a passion project for both of you. Is there any reason that you think that Vic shouldn't get rewarded her doctorate at Gardner-Webb University?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No reason at all.
I'd like to give you the offer you again. Thank you for partnering with her and with us. I'll give you the opportunity for any comments that you would like to make.
I just want to say how proud I am of Vic as a leader, because all those things that she's seen in herself, I have seen in her as well. This has been a great opportunity for me to have a thought partner that I don't usually get, because kind of one of my own in the district. It's been very nice to have someone to collaborate with and problem solve with and think through innovative solutions, and we haven't gotten to the point that we want. I think I can see us carrying this on, into the future for sure. We really like the idea of collective leadership, but there's so much more we could do with it on a practical level.
Sure.
And to extend it to other schools in the district, which would be huge. And so I'm excited about the opportunities we have, and I want to thank her very much for her help in being a thought partner with me.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
That's
Thanks, Cheryl.
absolutely great. All right, it's time for your charge. To whom much is given, much is required. You've heard this all week. You know that you're going to represent us at Gardner Webb, not only us, but your school district. People want to know what you know, not what you think. And you'll be representative of us at all times. These are redundant things for you as a school principal. You already know these things. You live your life in the public eye. You are a public figure. That is for good or for bad is what we do in school leadership. And I know that you will be an ambassador for us and a supporter, and just like you are for your school district. And I appreciate that. And so without further ado, congratulations, Dr. Vicky Stine.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Again, of all the folks that I've worked with, this one obviously is most relevant to me. But this one has been special because of you, but the topic as well. This group has been special. The six of you have been, the dynamic half dozen, and I have enjoyed working with you. But each of you, Jonathan's project is more about what I do now. This project is about the students that I teach now. So many of these gems today. I mean, these projects have, they touch some part of my life. That's not. This is not about me, but that there has been a piece of me for each of you in this that I've got more than I've given. I thank you for that. I appreciate that. I've enjoyed all of your projects. And,
I thank you all too. Both of you shine as far as going out of your way to help, and you live your model for me, and I appreciate the extra attention, and it means the world to me, and I will represent you all well.
Thank you, and I know you will. All right, we got two prayers today, and so I'm going to close with prayer today. Our first is service. As you know, our motto at Gardner Webb is Pro Deo et Humanitate, service for God and man. And so our first prayer today is from St. Teresa of Avila. Let me serve you. And so we'll start with our first prayer. And then our second prayer today is a prayer for summer, a time for renewal, a time for rest, and certainly a time for you folks after you finish this program. So pray with me. Lord, let me serve you. Help me respond to the slightest prompting of your grace so that I may be your trustworthy instrument for your honor. May your will be done in time and eternity by me, in me, and through me. Our summer prayer is from Loretto College in Dublin, Ireland. Long, warm days and the pace of life slows, a time for picnics and rest in the shade. Lord, help me rest a while in the cooling shade of your presence. Slow down my restless heart and fill me with gentle compassion for all your people. Amen.
Amen.
Yay!
Yay! Yay!
We were going to go get lunch together on Friday, so I don't know what we're going to do tonight.
But now you can go get lunch on Friday, and Vic will be able to swallow. She won't be all. She won't be all tightened up, and she will be relaxed by then.
Dr. Lamb, I always wanted to go first with presentations because it would kill me to hear everybody be like, oh. And so in listening to these presentations, I was like, I'm just going to ask him.
It's your time. We schedule. We go whenever you need to go. I'm glad. And so,
well, thank you.
I think I'm going to be covering for Dr. Hamilton a few. I think we've got a couple tomorrow. And I'm meeting another one of my folks who is hopefully at the end of her data collection tomorrow. But we've got 4 more this week. But Angie doesn't want to go the very last time on the very last day.
Oh,
And so all of you are done except for her, and she's going to wait till July 15th, Friday at 2:00.
no.
See,
Maybe you can call her and encourage her.
Yeah, I
the anticipation would eat me up. So
I can't stand it either. Woo.
no, I wouldn't be able to do that. But yeah, we've got some. So I'm surprised that Dr. Hamilton, that his group, I work with them obviously. I'm surprised where y'all were together with us. I'm surprised so many of them wanted to wait. Most of them want to wait till the week after the 4th. I'm like, man, I'd get this out of the way.
Right.
I would knock it out. But I remember my own doctoral experience a long time ago. When I was at Chapel Hill, they would let you do all these pre-defenses, but that just slowed you down. I want to go to the final after the proposal defense. I don't want to do that because that, adds about another month to the process. Now let's just I'm going to put all my money on red. Let's let it ride here. I want to go as soon as possible. But yeah.
Thank you for your guidance.
A lot of anxiety to get this over with.
Absolutely.
I completely understand that, but I'm glad that you're through. Did an excellent job. Your study again. I love your study.
Thank you.
And I know it'll be a benefit for everybody. All right. Being nothing further, I will dismiss. Everybody have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheryl, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Bye.